Let's get some analysis and bring in Lisa Yasko, an elected member of Ukraine's parliament, the Verkhovna Rada for President Zelensky's party Servant of the People, or Sluha Narodu. Lisa's also a member of Ukraine's delegation to PACE, which is the parliamentary arm of the Council of Europe. Privet, Lisa, thank you very much for being with us. How important, in your opinion, is this decision currently being discussed in Brussels?
You know, this night is actually very important, not only for Ukraine, but actually for the history of Europe. This evening, this night may show us whether Europe is capable of being a real leader or a fear for Russia will win. And this is quite a dangerous moment, but I stay optimistic about Europe's capacity to make right decisions, because this is a decision not only about giving frozen assets for Ukraine. This is a decision about international order.
Because as well as Ukraine's future, of course, the future security of Europe is also at stake. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely, but this is not only about money. This is about justice that is very much needed. And when there is something in the hands of Europe, now in this case, this is frozen assets. And these frozen assets are assets of aggressor. It's very clear. And Europe has all possibilities actually to use this money for defense of Europe and for justice of Europe. Yes, a part of that, of course, should go to Ukraine because we are the ones who are the front line. But this is decision that I want to repeat is much bigger than about Ukraine. And it would be very hard to change anything about the leadership in Europe if today we will not hear on how these frozen assets will be transferred for defense and compensation mechanism in Ukraine.
President Zelensky, Lisa, and I'm sure you've heard this, said that it is, and these are his words, morally clear and just that the frozen Russian assets should be seized and given to Ukraine. And just to remind people watching across Europe, and those watching in the United States, of course, this $260 billion that we're talking about is incredibly important because Kyiv is, we understand, you're about to run out of money sometime in the new year, which of course would badly affect any possibility of continuing your struggle. Can you remind people watching how this money will be used, what kind of things it will be spent on? How will you be using that money?
Well, President Zelensky said very clear that we have a really lack of funding for weapons production, for drones, for air defense. So every night, sometimes we have massive attacks when we have 400 drones flying, plus missiles. And for all of that, we need air defense weapon. And we unfortunately don't have I don't want to say numbers, but the situation is really not optimistic if we don't manage to get the funding for the weapons production and for buying things that will protect life here. And of course, it will also prevent Russia for entering more and more into doing more aggression on European continent. The second thing that is very important for us is Ukraine recovery. We really want to bring people ability to recover. And this is not only about the building infrastructure, that is also about the human recovery. It's about education, it's about medicine, it's about many things. And the third thing is justice. We need funding for compensation mechanisms for damage that was caused by aggressor to millions of Ukrainians who lost their loved ones, they lost their lives, they lost houses. And I believe future is not possible without justice. And the future will be continued with the war and more wars if we don't work on justice. And the frozen assets can really help to fix that justice for the future.
Loud and clear, Lisa, hearing that loud and clear. When Vladimir Putin says that if he doesn't get what he's looking for, i.e. Ukrainian soil, through the negotiation led by the United States, he'll take it by military force. That's what he said. When you hear that, and when you hear the United States talking about giving land to Putin, tell us how that makes you feel.
Well, we believe here that the position of the United States is shameful because this is against Ukrainian people. It's against humanity. We do understand that in diplomacy, sometimes you need to take the middle ground, but you shouldn't forget that you shouldn't be trading. You shouldn't be trading with aggressor. However, I still stay optimistic because I think that Trump and American administration will very soon understand again that Russia doesn't want to have any peace and they just want to have more and more war. So the only way is to isolate Russia, to cut Russia from financial resources to run war, to cut Russia from economic growth, from Russian imperialism, to make sure that the Russian racism is stopped and that crazy imperialism that Putin is imposing on all the world should stop, because we live in a century and in a future where we don't want to have one country invading another country because they believe there are little or not little brothers and sisters. This should be stopped, and we have a chance to stop this now altogether. And the role of Europe is incredible in that, because we are the ones who need to keep US on board. This is our historical role now.
Ukraine has sent a delegation to Beijing, talking with the representatives of China's foreign ministry, Ukraine's foreign minister there. Is that part and parcel of what you're trying to do in terms of trying to stop the trade with Russia, this bankrolling of their war machine, for instance, China buying Russia's oil?
Absolutely. We need all countries that have a big trade with Russia, in India, in China, in other places. We need to stop them trading with Russia. This really will help to isolate Russia, and Russia will get economically weaker and will not be able to produce that weapons machine, militaristic machine anymore.
We see the family popping up alongside you there, Lisa. Are you all holding up okay? How are things for you there in Kyiv? Is the family all right?
Well, we have to cope. There is no other option. I'm happy that I'm speaking to you now and I have light now, but this is not the case every night. The schedule that allowed me that you will see my face clearly. Usually at the evening, especially, there is no light and electricity.
Lisa Yasko, Dziękuję, thank you very much for being with us. It's a pleasure to speak to you always. Lisa Yasko, a Member of Parliament for President Zelensky's Sluga Narodu Party, Servant of the People. She's also on the Ukraine delegation to the parliamentary arm of the Council of Europe. Lisa, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the update from Kyiv. Great to see you. Thank you.